Guys, we're back, your favourite couple on YouTube. It's James and Louisa, and today we've got a bit of a different video style for you. So we're going to go over some things to help you guys out if you're planning on either coming to Australia or if you just want to know a bit more about it before you decide you want to go to Australia and you want to travel. So it's more like a backpacker's help, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Louisa's going to go through it and explain in a bit more detail what we're doing.
Yeah, we have 5 tips to you guys where we come with our own experience of what we have learned so far, especially for people who are coming like a working holiday visa. We will start out to tell about when you arrive, what you have to do, things you have to do before you can work, and then we will talk about places to stay, what the cheapest, or what you actually can expect for the different places. And then we want to talk about car, like we bought a car.
Yeah, we did. Bought 2 cars.
Yeah, actually 2. And then we will talk about saving money and find work, how we find our work.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, hopefully you'll see them on the screen now, and then you can skip to any bits that you find relevant to you, or if you just want a general idea, you can watch the whole thing. So,
yeah, and we hope we can help you guys.
Yeah, so here's tip number 1.
Tip number 1 is stuff you have to do when you first arrive to Australia. You need a bank account.
If you want to get paid, you need a bank account, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Top bit of advice.
We have Commonwealth Bank, but there are a lot of different options. Then you need a phone contract, so it's easier to talk with your employer.
Yeah,
if
talk
he wants
with
to come
people.
back to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, talk with people. Obviously, if you meet people here, like you make friends, then you're gonna want to be able to talk to them. So sometimes it's easier just to have a phone number. And yeah, especially if you're applying for jobs and stuff, they expect you to put a phone number down, and it's just easier for them to contact you. I feel like it'd put them off a little bit if you have like in Britain you have like the +44 and they don't want to like call those sort of numbers. So
much easier than mails too.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you also need a TFN number. Yeah, so you pay the right text.
I'm still unconvinced Louisa knows what a TFN number is, but yeah. So if you're a working holidaymaker, you need a TFN number.
Yeah.
It basically helps them distinguish whether you're a working holidaymaker, like the tax rate that you should be paying. Otherwise, you'd be paying too much tax.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be doing that. You want as much money for yourself as possible. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to go into a bit more detail now. It's probably easier for me to explain with So yeah, bank account, getting a bank account. So to be honest, I think we actually did it in a bad way. I did a little bit of research on the sort of banks in Australia and the positives that they'd have for working holiday makers. So there's like 4 big banks, I think. So it's like Bank of Melbourne, Commonwealth Bank, ANZ. I'm not sure what the other one is. I know there's like Bendigo, but it's not one of the big ones. But yeah, anyway, so there's some big banks here, like there is in most countries. But Commonwealth Bank are really good because if you want to transfer money back to your like British account and stuff like that, you don't get charged. So that's a really big positive if you're planning on coming to Australia. Saving up loads of money and then going home with that money, it just means that you don't have to pay lots of money, you're not missing out on loads of money by just wasting it on trying to transfer it back to your bank account and stuff like that. So that's a really big positive. So we went with Commonwealth Bank. I'm not 100% sure why we picked that one.
I think it was because we saw it when we were in Adelaide and we need a bank. Yeah,
some of like the banks have got other positive stuff, but Commonwealth seems like one of the most popular, especially with backpackers as well. So yeah, we went to Commonwealth, and we had lots of trouble with that. So yeah, this is why we're making the video, so you don't make these mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we went into the bank, and then they were like, well, you need, what was it? We needed a permanent address, which you need like a permanent address to do loads of things, which is a nightmare for a backpacker.
And we can want to talk about the needs our visas.
Yeah, you need like visa declaration and stuff like that, and like we just walked into the bank, we didn't have any idea that we needed all this stuff. We thought it was going to be really easy.
Passport, they also need that.
Yeah, so yeah, like just before you go to the bank, just have a research of the sort of forms that you'll need. So you'll need like a visa declaration, passport, probably like a phone number and a permanent address, because they need to send your like debit card to the address. So just make sure that if you are planning on doing the bank account, make sure you've got an address for at least sort of 7 days, so they can send the bank card to the address and you can get it. Whereas we were in an Airbnb at the time, and
we were like sick.
I think we were leaving in like 3 days or something to go to Melbourne. So
we had to call them and change our address. So
it was just it was a bit of a nightmare really, but yeah, I would recommend Commonwealth because they have been really good. The app is like so simple to use. I don't know if I'm trying to show you guys how easy it is to use, but yeah, you get an app and like just moving money and stuff like that. We set up 2 accounts, which is really good, and then you get like notifications when you've been paid or like amounts of money that you've spent, like what you spent it on and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a really cool like looking app. But so yeah, Commonwealth Bank, if you want to sponsor us and you're watching this video, hit us up. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's like the banking covered. I hope that was a bit clearer for you guys. There's loads of research online that you can do, but yeah, it's just more realising the stuff that you need to take to the bank when you want to sort it out.
It's not that easy.
It's not as easy as you think. And then TFN number was also another nightmare. So it's really easy to apply for, but again, you need an address for it to get sent to, so that you can find out your TFN number.
We apply online, right?
Yeah, we applied online to find out your TFN number, but actually it worked out. It actually worked out quite well, but luckily, like I've got my parents have some friends here that I could send the mail to, and then asked her to email through our TFN numbers. But I think you can actually apply for it and call them up.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we did that because we needed to find out a bit earlier.
Yeah, because we need it for the work. You have to get it before you can go to work and
any backpacker jobs or anything like that. They normally, if they're a legit business, they will ask for your TFN number. And yeah, if you without that, I mean, most businesses are sort of we don't want you until you've got that sorted, sort of thing.
Or you can get paid, all that.
Yeah, so TFN number, you just go online. That's quite simple to do. But yeah, again, just be careful with if you need the permanent address and things like that. I think it's quite good having a TFN number for like verifying you are who you are as well. So it might be good to actually get the mail in your hands so that you have that in case you need to prove who you are for things like phone contracts, which is our next issue, which again we had some problems with. So we arrived in Adelaide and we were like, okay, we're gonna sort everything out. So we thought getting a phone contract dead easy. Like, got a credit card, so use my credit card and I have ID to say who I am, and then I thought, that'll be it, be simple. But no, we went into Optus and they were like, oh, you need 4 pieces of verification. So they were like, okay, you need ID. So okay, I've got my passport, that's fine. They were like, you need a bank account, which I don't think we had sorted at the time.
That was the first time we come to them.
So that was annoying. But then the bank account were like, well, we need a phone number. So yeah, that was.
But it was also because they need like Australia bank account to get Australia phone contract. You couldn't use your.
Yeah. So yeah, we went into Optus. We had a bit of a nightmare with that, but eventually got all that sorted. But I'd just like to give some advice on the networks that you can choose from in Australia. So we have Optus. Telstra's the best. Telstra's got the best signal in all of Australia, like the best coverage. Then Optus next, and then there's some like smaller ones like Vodafone.
Yeah, Vodafone.
But I think Optus is cheaper, but it doesn't have as good a coverage as Telstra does. So yeah, and if you're planning on doing your farm work, I'd 100% recommend doing Telstra, even though it is a bit more expensive. We were staying on a farm and working, and Louisa had a signal, whereas I didn't, and I was on Optus. So we know that Telstra's coverage is a lot better, although it is a little bit more expensive. But it's definitely worth it if you've got the money to do it. But one thing that we would like to mention is that I signed up as soon as I got to Australia to go to a mobile shop and get my contract sorted, which meant I could get a 12-month contract. But we then tried to do this a bit later for Louisa, Even though we were like planning on doing our second year straight away, they were like, no, you need to have like at least a year sort of left on your visa to be able to sign up for a 12-month contract. So it's now worked out like a bit more expensive for Louisa. We're doing like a sim-only contract where you just have to pay every month, but yeah, it's not too bad. But if you guys do want to save some money, it's definitely worth one of the top things that I'd recommend doing before you get to Australia.
Tip number 2 is is places to stay. There are different options. There are hostel, there are Airbnb, and you can also rent an apartment.
Yeah.
We start out with staying at Airbnb when we went to Australia first in Melbourne, but we choose that because we know we have to come over our jet lag, and we
which sucks.
Yeah,
it's a long flight.
Yeah, we have to settle down, and we have good Wi-Fi, so we have a chance to search what we need to search, work out our plans. So that was really good in the beginning, but of course a bit more that expensive, but we knew we would have everything what we need in the beginning. That was good.
Yeah, it was nice. Just we were close to like free transport in Melbourne, so we were close to like a free tram stop. We could just sort of cook if we wanted to for ourselves, because obviously like, you're tired when you first land and stuff like that. So it's nice just to be able to have a fridge, your own cooking area.
Yeah, good bed, so
good bed, just like your own space, just to chill and throw everything down.
But also start to enjoy, now we're in Melbourne, so start to see Melbourne a bit next to all what we
it's just in a good location, and it's just nice. Gave us a good opportunity to get used to Melbourne, get used to Australia, and just do research, as you said, about the Wi-Fi. Having good Wi-Fi is so important when you first land. Really good. So what next? What have we got next? So our next place is working hostels. So if you are looking to do your farm work, one of the things that I would probably recommend is a working hostel. So if you are looking to get farm work, it can be quite difficult. Like you're searching around lots of areas and you're just not sure you're in the right location and things like that. Is to do a bit of research on any working hostels. So a lot of like popular seasonal fruit picking areas, there'll be working hostels there. So Mildura is where we went first off to start doing our farm work. So we found a working hostel, and what that means is you pay rent for the week, you stay in the hostel with everybody.
You meet a lot of people, and I found it really good because my English, you start to talk with more people, you hear different accents because there are people from different places in the world, and I found that was a good start for me.
You have all the facilities that you need, but the owner of the hostel will find you work, so it means that you're paying rent, but at least you get something out of it, so you're getting work out of it. And I do know that if they can't find you work, they tend to give you a bit of a break on the rent because they know that you're not getting any money together, so you don't really want to have to be paying rent and stuff like that. So it is a really good option, especially if you know the season. It's one thing I would recommend. If you're going to do a working hostel, make sure that you're going in a season where it is busy. There's going to be loads of jobs and things like that, because it just gives you the best opportunity to start saving some money. So and we were spending like $170 a week each in the working hostel, which I guess it isn't too bad. We did have our own room actually, which was amazing for us. Because normally you have to spend more than that on in hostels, but luckily we didn't.
We get a fridge in our own room too.
We had like a fridge, which was really nice. Really it was really good, but it was good, and I would recommend it, especially if you're either travelling on your own or you're just really struggling to find farm work, because we have spoken to people that have struggled. So it's a good start. It gives you an idea of what it's like, and there's usually plenty of options and people to speak to in the hostels that can give you advice and ideas of, oh well, maybe you could try this and try that, and I'd stay away from that sort of thing. So it's a good place to be. Okay.
And then you also can rent an apartment, like we are doing now here in Melbourne.
We're in Melbourne, guys. If you don't know that, we haven't released that video, so
but we decided to rent an apartment because we knew we will be here a longer time, we will find work, try to give it a chance to stay here in Melbourne and get see how it is to live and work.
Yeah, I think we first flew into Melbourne, and to be honest, I think we both sort of fell in love with Melbourne a little bit. We were like, oh, this is amazing, this is really nice, and just, we did come when the weather was nice as well, so I guess that gives you a different outlook on the place, but it was really nice, and yeah, we sort of said to ourselves, like, oh, we could definitely see ourselves settling down here for a little while, just to see what it's like to actually live in Melbourne, and yeah, we were doing a bit of research on it, and yeah, you'll find out in the other video what went wrong with the other job, but yeah, we decided that, well, let's just go to the city. We really like Melbourne. It's a good opportunity. There should be lots of jobs available because, yeah, there's bars, restaurants, just a lot going on. And yeah, and then we started to like research, so looking into apartments and things like that, and
worked out it was cheaper than hostel.
Yeah, it's actually worked out cheaper than getting a hostel for a week than having an apartment. So we are sharing with another couple, but I mean, we've got a kitchen, we've got a toilet, shower,
our own room,
yeah, like massive view over everything towards the ocean, which is really nice. We've got our own Wi-Fi, all the bills are included, so I think we're spending about, I don't know, $160 each maybe a week on rent, and we've like found a job fairly easily. I guess we were stressing out a little bit, but we found a job really easily, so yeah, definitely recommend renting an apartment if you just want to stay in one place for a little while.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, yeah, and you can meet people, and yeah, it doesn't seem too hard to actually settle down and find an apartment that will have you. So yeah, tip number 3, guys, buying a car. So this may be something that you're interested in doing when you get to Australia, or it may be something that you're like, absolutely not, I don't see the point. But for us, obviously being together, it means that we can split most things down the middle, and it means that buying a car wasn't a huge investment for us. And you don't need insurance here, which is massively helpful, although would recommend it because it's a lot cheaper than in Britain especially. But yeah, for our first car we spent about $1,500.
Yeah, we work out cars were extra cheap, so yeah, we decided just to do it, so it was easier to come around. Yeah,
it's just easier to get around. I mean, it's not really until you get to Australia that you realise how bad public transport is around the country. It's not necessarily bad in the cities, like that's fine, but it's more getting from city to city, and with it being such a huge country, like flights can be quite expensive. So yeah, we just thought, oh, we'll buy a car because it'd be easier for us to get between place to place.
Easier to find work too.
Yeah, and you just take your time on journeys as well, so you can like pull over, get an Airbnb for the night or something like on the coast, which should be really nice.
Yeah, and you can see much more.
But yeah, a lot of like the jobs and stuff tend to be quite rural, so out in the country and things like that, so they do tend to be a bit more of a drive. So finding public transport to some of these areas is almost impossible, or if it is, it's really expensive, or it takes ages. Like you can take a bus for like, I don't know, 20 hours or something.
Yeah, you have to work something out with your bus, have to pick you up.
Which is horrible. So yeah, we decided to buy a car, and to be honest, I think it actually helped us get a load more jobs, like farm work jobs and things like that, because as soon as you say, yeah, we've got our own transport, we're ready to go immediately, people are like, yeah, well, that sounds amazing. So, and they know that they just know that you're there to go straight away, and that you can get to these isolated areas and be able to drive and get shopping and come back and things like that, and they don't have to worry about organising it.
Yeah, because we stay an hour away from the door.
Yeah, so the farm, the video that you've seen on our channel of us fruit picking, that was like an hour away from a town where we could get like our groceries and things like that. So
have a car means a lot there, because the people who didn't have a car have to ask us or drive with some of the other people at the bus.
Yeah, they have to travel with us, so it just means that, they don't have to think about it, and it just makes their life easier, and probably makes your life easier as well, because you don't want to be an hour away from somewhere and then we forgot to get something that's really important, and then you don't have an option until the next week. So
you also have like opportunity to just drive to the city if you have a day off, or don't have to be on the farm. Sometimes it could be a bit boring, but
very boring.
So it was nice to have the chance to just go if you want to.
I think also there's the other side of backpacking jobs that, you know, there are jobs that aren't that great out there. I mean, we both experienced jobs that we didn't enjoy at all, but having that car gives you the freedom of like, you're not stuck at that place if you're not making money or something's a bit wrong, or I don't know whether there's any issues or anything like that. It means that, you know, you can just drive, you can leave when you want. You don't have to think, oh, I need to book a flight and worry about, oh, well, flight's gonna be really expensive and things like that. So it just allows you to, that's that freedom.
Just that freedom, if you hear, oh, there's a good season in Melbourne right now, or that's so easy to just move to there. And
you can just dump all your stuff in the car as well.
That's amazing.
You obviously don't sometimes have that much space in your rooms and stuff like that, so just having a car is just to store certain things is really good. Like we've got these 2 plastic boxes that we chuck like all our rubbish in, like playing cards and frisbees and all that sort of thing. Just little bits and pieces that you don't want to be carrying in your bag and things. So you can just dump it in the car and you sort of forget about it, which is really nice. We would, I guess, some people buy cars that are bigger, that you can sleep in, that you can put like the seats down, put a mattress in. There is like a lot of free places to stop in Australia, so that would be a really good idea. It wasn't something that we were looking at really. We were more just thinking we just need a car just to get around. We weren't too worried about saving money on accommodation and things like that. I mean, we're quite happy to meet people in hostels and things like that. But I think if you are thinking of maybe going a bit off track than like the normal roads and stuff like that, then I think having a car that you can sleep in means you can go to like these national parks and you know, you're not spending money on accommodation.
It is cheaper, 100%, but of course you need a lot of other stuff you don't need if you're not staying in the car.
And I think the cars are obviously a little bit more expensive. You're buying bigger cars and things like that.
But then you save money to places to stay.
So it's not too complicated to buy a car. I mean, I have no idea about cars. They probably see me coming a mile off and they're like, oh my god, this made my day. But you can go online, there's like little checklists that you can do. There is like some Facebook groups as well that you can join that they do offer that they can come and look at the car for free if you're in certain areas. When we were looking at our car, we weren't in one of those areas, unfortunately, so sort of left to our own devices. But you just take it for a test drive, that sort of thing. And
why did we buy it in Adelaide?
We bought it in Adelaide because I actually did like a bit of research on it, and I think it would work out cheaper as long as you're careful with the car you're buying. So in most of the other states, your car needs to have a roadworthy test. So if you're from Britain, that's like an MOT test that they have to have every year to make sure that everything's okay. Whereas in South Australia, they don't need that. They don't need to have a roadworthy test, so you don't have to pay for that every year. And also, you can set up an account pretty easily with the government. You just go into one of their offices with like your passport, and like the sheets to say that you're buying a car and like this is how you're doing it, and you pay the money, which is like tax and sort of like an ambulance insurance, I think it is. So if you do get into an accident, you paid like a little bit of money to pay for the ambulance that it comes. That's because you don't need to buy insurance. And the registration as well. So you have to register your car. You can register it in South Australia for 3 months or 12 months.
And it's not too expensive actually.
I can't remember how much it is actually. It's like $700 maybe for a year.
Yeah, but for 3 months was only 100.
Oh yeah, for 3 months it was like 161. So that's quite cheap. It's not too bad, and it means that you don't have to go to the office to do the registration. So if it's either expiring or running out, I think you might have to go. If you're in other states, you might have to go to the office even if it's running out. Whereas South Australia is just everything's online.
Yeah, that's so easy.
Yeah,
and it makes us easier to buy a new car because we had to buy our second car.
Yeah, we had to buy another car because, well, hopefully we're gonna put a video up, I think, talking about it. But
we will make a video about how the whole process is to buy a car, and then we will tell why we buy it.
We've got a big surprise for you guys of what happened to our first car, which I'm sure you will love to hear. So fourth tip.
Okay. Yeah, it's to find work. Yeah, we Okay.
So it's finding work. So we're just going to talk about how to find like farm work, maybe how to find jobs in the city, Yeah, because we have spoken to people that have had quite a lot of trouble finding farm work, so hopefully give you guys some help and some advice.
Yeah, if we just take like look at our experience, like we start.
This is just us, by the way.
But we will still come with advice and tips. But we started in Melbourne, and we tried to see if we could find some work. James actually find work. What was that?
So there's like a backpacker job board where you can go on and you can find jobs for backpackers, but a lot of them are either like call centres or knocking on doors and trying to sell stuff.
Yeah.
Which, being from England, that's really uncomfortable. But Australia is it's almost a bit further back and not quite as advanced in certain things, so they still actually like respond quite well to people knocking on doors, whereas in Britain it's like, get away from my house, like we just don't want you here. So so it's really bad in Britain, whereas in Australia they're a lot more accepting and they're happy to listen to you. So I got a job knocking on doors, basically trying to sell this product.
And he found it online where we both apply. We used to start just apply online, different, like all different that we could see on that website. But I was not that lucky.
Lucky, I think that's a big statement. But it wasn't that fun. And to start off with, they pay you like for 2 weeks, and then after those 2 weeks, it's all based on your sales that you're making. So I was a little bit nervous to sort of try and get a place in Melbourne without knowing that I'm gonna have this much money coming in a week. So
and we didn't know I will find a job like in the beginning. Also because when we went to Australia first, like my English was not that good at all. But
her English has improved, so leave a like for that, guys. She needs some motivation for that, and make sure you comment with how well she's doing, because she needs the support.
But we actually James decide so quit the job, and then we will
after a day.
Then we say no, maybe we should do our farm work first, also so I could improve my English and just start to speak with people you meet like on the farm work and in the hostel and stuff like that. So we decided to try, I can't remember.
No, we applied for a few jobs. So we heard back from this guy who I was emailing with, who said like, I've got work for you. Like, come to Mildura, and then and then I sort of wasn't really hearing that much back from him, so I was like, okay, I need to find out some details about this job. So I started emailing him and asking about like pay and things like that, and then I think he said like 15 cents a vine or something.
It was not hourly paid.
Oh it was like piece rate, but it was like filling boxes with grapes, I think it was, and then he told us how much, and then I think it worked out that we'd get like, I don't know, $10 a day or something, maybe not even that, and then I was like, oh no, and we'd already started driving to Mildura. So then I just decided, right, I'm going to call some farms, see if they need them, because it was in the season, so I was hoping that we'd be able to find a job fairly easily. And I just called this one farm, and they're like, oh, you need to, we don't really need anybody, but you need to contact Madec. So we'll leave a link down in the description if you guys, so you can use it. But
it should be different around in Australia.
Yeah, it's like a chain, and it's like helps agricultural.
But we were lucky there were one in the door where we had to.
So they were like, call them up, and they sort of like help people connect farmers with workers. So it's a really good idea, and it helps us out with like quite a few of our jobs. But so I called them, and they were like, okay, we're closing at 5 o'clock, so, and we were due to get there about 4:45, so
but we made it.
Yeah, we made it, and we walked in, and straight away they were like, we've got a job for you, you start on Monday. It's fine. So they just connect you with the employer. Called up the employer, and she was like, come for an interview. Came for an interview. Everything was fine, sort of discussed like pay and everything like that, and she was like, it's fine, and then she started working there. So
and then after the first 2 weeks we actually stay in this apartment because we didn't know actually what we should do 100% when we come. But then after 2 weeks we moved to a working hostel that was where people also stay who we work with, so that was really
and then
nice.
When my sort of job finished at that company, like the working hostel would help me find some work, but as I said, we sort of finished in a quieter time, and I always did picking snow peas, and I was getting $15 a day, and it was awful. So yeah, just be careful with that. I mean, we would recommend working hostels, but at the same time, as long as you're careful about it, then you should be fine. And like the people you meet, people that we're still meeting up with in Melbourne now, so you're all sort of around Australia, and it's really nice to have that.
But yeah, you tried different jobs. And
I tried loads of different jobs.
I was lucky, I worked a longer time. So if you want your second year visa, starting good time. We meet a lot of people who actually did it after they're traveling, like half year or so, I don't know, like you think you only use 3 months, but you can be unlucky that the seasons end, or the season maybe is not that perfect like the farms actually thought it would be, so they have to fire some people, or there could be a lot of different changes.
Yeah, it's like weather as well. Like a lot of them are weather dependent, so you can miss days because of that. So don't just assume that the 88 days is going to take 88 days, because in reality it usually takes a lot longer. So just make sure you have plenty of time to do it. Like, by all means go and travel, but just keep that in the back of your mind that
maybe take like
you do need to plan a little bit about how you're going to do it, and plan your seasons a little bit just to make sure that you get it done, because the last thing you want is to end up doing a rubbish job, saving no money just for the sake of getting your 88 days done.
We were really happy that we start with do our farm where we come here. It's nice to get out of the world. We have our 8 days done, and now we can be a bit more relaxed about just focus on save money and gain experience.
So finding a job in a city is a lot easier.
Yeah, actually before we went to Melbourne, we started to send a lot of mail out to different bar and restaurant, and so we have an idea like we need people, not need people, but we got actually a lot of people went back to us and say they would love to have a job interview with us.
There's more where we can find accommodation, to be honest with you. St Kilda's more like near the beach. In Melbourne it's like, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe outside of the city. There's like a lot of bars out there, and there's a lot of backpackers there because it tends to be a bit cheaper. So we did start off emailing them, but unfortunately we managed to sort out accommodation before we found a job. So we found accommodation in the city, it was really cheap.
Then we actually just start from the start again, send mail out, go around with our resume.
As I said it before about the knocking on the door thing, Australia seems to be quite a bit more traditional maybe, so it's less email based or less calling based. They actually want to see you come in with your resume face to face, hand it in so they can have a bit of a conversation with you. So
that was really good, and there was some people who say like, they rather want us to come alone than together, but we actually ended up to get a job where we sent a mail to, and then they just went back to us, can you come to a job interview next day? So it's actually just look online, go around, send mails out what you see, and then it's just be lucky.
And if you are looking at getting like a bar job in Melbourne or any of the cities, you need to get a responsible service of alcohol certificate. In Victoria you can't do it online, you have to go to a course. So it's like a 4-hour course, it costs about $60 each.
And do that before you start to apply.
100%.
They ask you, do you have the ISA? And then you say no, and then you say, we can't accept it.
They
just
don't
throw your
accept
resume
it.
out.
They don't accept it if you don't have it. So it's definitely worth something that if you are looking to get bar jobs and stuff like that, then make sure you have that first. Tip number 5, guys. So this is our last tip, and I think it's probably the most important. I think you probably know most of the stuff in it that we're going to tell you, but we feel like it's definitely worth saying to you. Saving money. Like, it's the biggest problem for backpackers. I mean, you don't want to end up doing all your work and then you spent all your money and then you want to go travelling, but you still need to carry on working. You want to sort of get your work done and then forget about it. I think saving money, our biggest probably hit for us for saving money was Aldi. Like, going to Aldi saves so much money over calls and all.
Most.
I think it saves us like $50 probably on a weekly shop by going to Aldi. I think most of you will probably know what Aldi is, but you get like unbranded stuff but still good quality stuff and a lot cheaper. So I definitely recommend Aldi to do your weekly shop, or just keep an eye on your weekly shop because it can get expensive. So like some weird things are really expensive in Australia. So capsicums, which are peppers, still don't know why they call them capsicums, but they're so expensive. So just random little things like that are really expensive.
But yeah, it's also about where you're actually staying, because if you stay in a hostel, it's easy to go out and use money together with the people you're staying with, because you want to spend time with them or drink a lot, go out every weekend. It's just going to be
alcohol is so expensive. Like going out or even just buying alcohol and drinking it at home in your hostel and stuff like that is so expensive. So
I feel like it was difficult to save money when you think about we go out, but I found it easier when we stay like here in the apartment, for example, because you guys know, you go out, you spend money on alcohol, you then on the way home you just want like a kebab, so then you spend money on that and you spend the whole next day hungover, can't be bothered to cook, so right, I need to order some more food. So you guys know how it is, and like we fell into that trap in the working hostel to start with. But we actually also, in the start, we were really lazy to start cooking because there were so many people in the kitchen.
Yeah, so hostel like kitchens could be really busy.
Yeah, but so you have to work out when.
Don't fall into that trap of like, you can't be bothered. Like, let's go out and get some food, because
we have done that.
Yeah, we have done that, and we know like going out and stuff like that. Like we are the same. We want to go out and we want to drink and stuff, but it does make you realise a little bit that when you stop doing it, like you do save so much money. So sort of just struggle through like 3 months and then travel for like 6 months, and it's worth it. So.
I feel like on the farm you really realize how much we save, because we just stay on the farm. There were no chance to go out, or no chance just to go out and buy food. So you just realize, oh my god, we actually save a lot of money here. While we've been here in Melbourne, I feel we've been good in cooking, and we're lucky that it's Aldi closed, but we have also been out on it. But I feel like we have been like, okay, maybe in the beginning it was a bit difficult because we didn't really settle down. But we start to find a good routine now.
And if you are one of those people that you can't help but go out, if there's other people going out, then I recommend getting a bar job or a job in a restaurant, because you're in on the busy nights, your days off are on like the quiet nights when nobody wants to go out. So and you're surrounded by alcohol anyway, you can have a drink, you see people partying and stuff like that. So it's a really good idea if you are that sort of person and you want to save money and you're like, how do I do it? Getting a bar job, I would 100% recommend it, because it does stop you spending money, and that is a good thing, and it's worth it.
And
so
if you want to go out at night, buy your alcohol and drink a bit before you go out. So like,
pre-drink.
Yeah, exactly. Legend. You save a lot there. Then maybe, I don't know, say to yourself you only have your car with you, but you only have your cash and stuff like that. It's just
try and budget. Budget yourself to a limit a week, and then as long as you're earning money and that you're sticking to that budget, I mean the pay in Australia is really good, so you should save money incredibly fast. So it's worth it. Just put yourself through it for that couple of months and then. That's the end of the video, guys. That's our 5 tips over and done with. So
we hope you enjoy it and you can use it.
And make sure you like and you comment with any questions that you have about the video or any video ideas.
If you want anything more explained, then we
can explain it more. No problem at all. Subscribe so you don't miss any of our other videos, because I'm sure there'll be something relevant to you if you've clicked on this video. But I think that's covered everything. I think that's covered everything. So
hope
see you guys.
Like it.
Bye.